design, as the name indicates, it's going to be you're doing something right before starting your design. This is what you're starting to get familiar with the subject. Okay, so basically when you want to start your design, you need to understand few things. So as I told you, like the sites, the building, the estimation, what is the budget framework, what is the building condition, what the clients, everything you have to understand. Okay, so I'm not asking you to create a formal document, nothing like that. You just have to take your paper, pen, write down what you have learned throughout the process. Before starting your design, like before understanding all these things, please don't start your design at all. Okay, so in this pre-design phase, the first thing you'll be analyzing is something called the site. So site factors is completely different for each and every location you handle. For example, the factors of the site you're handling in Chennai, Hyderabad, or Mumbai, each and everything will have their own climatic factors. So first you need to understand basic stuffs like which direction the sunlight is coming in, what is the wind direction, what is the underground water level in that area. So all these stuffs. Okay, and after that you have to understand something called zoning and programming. So zoning and programming basically means understanding the planning, how, like what should come near what shouldn't come near what inside the space you're going to design. For example, let's say you're designing the interiors of a living room. So inside a living room, there are like few things. There will be a sofa, there'll be a coffee table, there might be a standing lamp or plant. So you need to understand that the sofa should be placed near to the coffee table so that the person sitting there can easily access it. Or if there is a standing lamp or a plant, they should be pushed to one edge or corner of the room so that they don't interrupt with the human circulation. All the basic planning. Okay, this is what you need to understand next. And after that, it is really important to analyze the building conditions, the services, and the structures as well. So when you're starting interior designing, everything, planning, the construction framework, everything will be built, right? So you're going to start ID as a new step. In that case, it is really important to understand about the building conditions, like where the column is running, where the beam is running, the electrical lines, plumbing lines, drainage system, everything you need to know. Okay, so the reason I'm telling you this is, okay, so let's talk about an incident here. So this happened like few years back in Chennai. Okay, so which happens at Chennai. Okay, so there was a female architect. So after her BR degree, she started working as an interior designer. So her first ever project was basically like an apartment complex, which was more than 20 floors. Okay, so without having proper idea about the building, she started with her design and she started executing the design at site as well. So at final stages, they'll be doing the lighting cutout, right? They'll drill a hole in the ceiling, take out the wiring, fix the lighting. At that point of time, by mistake, they drilled holes in all the internal beams of the building. So what happens when you drill a hole in the beam of the building? Obviously, it reduces the stability because beams are like something like the binding structure, right? So the whole building just collapsed in less than 4 hours. They had to file a complaint against her, and she could never practice again in her life at all. So these are the type of consequences you face when you properly don't analyze what is happening with the building. Okay, so please make a note of it. And after that, estimation. So estimation is going to be very hard, trust me. Okay, because obviously you have to predict, you have to keep a budget framework for yourself. Try to stick within the budget. You shouldn't exceed the limits, and please make a note of it. Please properly make an interior agreement or get an approval right before starting your design with respect to estimation. Okay, so whoever the client you're dealing with, it can be a friend, it can be a relative, it can be the closest person in your life also. Please get an approval right before starting your design, because we might not know what kind of people you're dealing with, right? A person will just come and say, like, talk very sweetly to you, and they'll be like, start your design, but at later stages they refuse to pay you back. I'm not exaggerating stuff, but this happens in the reality. Okay, so please make a habit of making an interior agreement or getting the approval from the client right before starting your design. Okay.